With the World Cup finally over, let's talk about the players that made it into my team of the tournament. Straight into it, this tournament has been full of goalkeeper headlines, whether it's Vozinha, Gil, or even Room, but I think there's only one option, and that's Unai Simon. Throughout the whole tournament, him and Spain only conceded one goal, and this is considering that there was a lot of backlash whether he should have started instead of Joan Garcia or David Raya, but he proved that he earned that spot. Maybe he wasn't threatened that much, but you can tell that he was always alert, always off his line when needed to, and that's why I think he deserved to win the Golden Glove. At right back, another Spanish man, and that is Pedro Porro. Going to this tournament, I had no idea whether it was going to be him or Llorente that starts for Spain. Obviously, in the first game, Llorente started, but in the second game, Porro started. In the third game, Llorente started again. I saw that Porro was connecting with Yamal better than how Llorente was. So I expected him to start in the knockout rounds, and he did. And throughout the knockout rounds, he managed to get some important goals. 2 goals. His first 2 goals of his international career. And I think he's deserving for that right back spot. In centre back, sorry, but there's another Spanish man, and that is young player of the tournament, Pau Cubarsí. I think throughout the tournament, he has been the best defender, hasn't put a foot wrong. And as you can tell, when he is not playing in Hansi Flick's suicide high line, he is flawless. Many times last season, where due to Barcelona's suicidal high line, Cubarsí was exposed, especially in the Champions League match when there's last man and he has to make a tackle and he gets a red card. But in Spanish system, Cubarsí is flawless and he is complemented by his partner Laporte. And I've been thinking whether I should put Laporte in the team of the tournament too, because he is also being one of the best defenders of this tournament. But of course, there are many options. There's the like of Romero from Argentina, who's I think was the best defender for Argentina. There's also Upamecano, I think was the best defender for France. But I am gonna put Aymeric Laporte. I thought that Laporte looked like the Laporte from Man City. You wouldn't imagine that this guy already went to Saudi, already went back to his childhood club of Bilbao. And I also think that Barcelona should sign Laporte, because I think that Barcelona lost a good leader in Inigo Martinez 2 years back. So I think they haven't really replaced that spot in the team, and I think Laporte is perfect for that team. And it's known that this duo works, as shown in the World Cup. At left back, I was between two. Obvious one being Marc Cucurella. I think in the Spanish defense, he plays an important part, especially against that France game where he managed to nullify Ousmane Dembele. And against Austria, where he got 2 assists, I think he is good both defensively and attacking. I think the way that he attacks, he always gets himself in correct positions, good positions for the midfielders to find him. But another option is Jet Spence. I think when Tuchel first picked Spence ahead of people like Lewis Hall or Trent, there were many negative opinions about it. Rightly so, because he's leaving out talented players like Hall and Trent. But Jet Spence has been one of the standout players for England. Apart from Jude Bellingham and Kane against that Congo match, I think Jet Spence has been England's best player. I think Cucurella and the Spanish defense was too good and almost on another level to everyone. Not almost, they were on another level to everyone. So I think it would be rude not to put Marc Cucurella. In midfield, there will be 2 pivot and a cam. I used the wrong formation. But the first one, Golden Ball winner Rodri. And you might think, this just looks like a Spanish team. But they were that good. The Spanish team was that good, especially these players. Rodri, I think him and Messi were the two that was competing for the Golden Ball. You can argue that Messi is the one that deserves it, but I think you can't argue that Rodri also deserves it. The way that he dominates any midfield, control any game, this looks like the former self, the Ballon d'Or winner in Rodri. And I think he is one of the first names to be in this team of the tournament. The other pivot is going to be Jude Bellingham. Even though Jude Bellingham played as a 10 throughout this tournament, I have to fit him in and I have to fit another player in. So in this hypothetical squad, he's going to play beside Rodri. I'm going to change the formation. Yeah, okay, that makes more sense. Jude Bellingham in this tournament, showcased the best ever World Cup performance by an Englishman ever since they won, with Bobby Charlton and Bobby Moore. But yeah, I didn't watch that. But ever since that, Jude Bellingham has been the best performing Englishman in a World Cup ever. 7 goals. The way that he carried England against Norway, against Mexico, and even in the third place match when he came on, he was just running through everyone. But it's a third place match, everyone wasn't defending, but you can't deny Jude Bellingham's talent and how impactful he was for English team. I think without him, England will be nowhere near that semis. And slightly in front of them, there's 2 options that I wanted to go with. First was Johan Manzambi. Johan Manzambi has been the young player that excited me the most throughout this tournament in terms of how they broke out. Johan Manzambi was a player from Freiburg. He can play in the 6, in the 8, in the 10. But for the Swiss team, he played more in the 10. And in his 4 games that he played, he managed to get 3 goals and 2 assists. And he was so impactful. And when he missed the Argentinian game due to injury, I think it was a big miss. And of course, now he got his big move to Aston Villa, which is fully deserved, and I think he can do really well to replace Morgan Rogers there. But we can't deny of this man's performances, which is Michael Olise. Michael Olise, okay, first we say that in the past few matches, the big matches, he didn't show up. Against Morocco, he didn't show up. Against Spain, he didn't show up. And you can say against England in the third place match, even though he got 2 assists, he was missing a lot of clear-cut chances. But the thing is, Olise, he got 7 assists. By far, the top assister of this tournament. Continuing his assisting form from his league campaign with Bayern, Olise was very, especially in the earlier part of the tournament, he was influential, the most important player in France attack, the one that connected everything for the attack. So I think he really deserves this spot. Up front, I think it's Haaland. Haaland, this is his first ever World Cup for Norway, and this is Norway's first World Cup in a long time. And he carried Norway. Out of all the underdogs, I think Norway and maybe Cape Verde impressed the most. And Norway went to the quarterfinals where they narrowly lost to England. But they wouldn't be there without Erling Haaland. The way that he carried Norway against that Brazil match was good enough for him to be in this spot. But throughout the tournament, the amount of goals he scored, I think 7 goals. For this to be his first ever World Cup tournament, and for him to be doing it with a Norway team, I think it makes him deserving of the spot. In the left, I think it's easy also, Kylian Mbappe. He continues to showcase the name of Mr. World Cup. 14 goal contributions. I think he also got 10 goals. I think this is only the 3rd time in history that a player has scored double digits in the World Cup. I think the first one was Fontaine, and it was Gerd Müller. Mbappe with 10 goals, 4 assists. He continues to show that why he is the main man of France. And even though the jokes about him being the dictator, I think it's deserved. I think without him, France is a different team. Without his goals, without his impact, I think you see during the England match in the second half, they were down 4-0. But the finishes that Mbappe was pulling out with his weaker foot, incredible. Even the passes that he was doing, the one to Barcola, it was amazing. And I think Mbappe, with his competitors around him in the rankings, like Messi, potentially already playing his last World Cup, Mbappe must be smiling knowing that his numbers is just going to keep growing and growing, and there's no one near. Maybe Haaland in a few years, but still this is only Haaland's first, while Mbappe has already played 3 World Cups. So I think Mbappe, by the end of his career, will be the clear and obvious best ever World Cup player. And the final player is, of course, Lionel Messi. As you can see in the final, all the opponent has to do is limit Messi. Spain was limiting Messi by playing the high line. Messi was unable to get the ball a lot, but Spain was letting. Trust me, even though it didn't seem like it seemed like Spain was just dominating the match the whole game. Spain was not really trying to defend the other players, they actually gave them the time on the ball whenever they have the ball. They let players like Julian Alvarez have space. Players like Nico Gonzalez have space. The amount of time Nico Gonzalez was able to run in behind. They were just limiting Messi, and you can see that Messi's impact on the Argentina team is so big that put him out of the game. And Argentina has no chance. And even when Argentina went a man down, you can see Messi when in the last 10 minutes of extra time, Messi woke up. And as much as Spain wanted to defend, Messi was still able to create some chances. But obviously, they weren't able to capitalize, especially Giuliano Simeone on that miss. But that doesn't take away the work that he has done throughout this tournament. Without Messi, Argentina would not be anywhere near that final. All the matches throughout the knockouts, in the group stages, the hat-tricks, the braces, the free kick against Jordan off the bench, Messi against Cape Verde, the way he locked in, the Messi against Egypt, the way he locked in, Messi against England, the way he locked in that final 20-25 minutes. He carried Argentina to the final, and that deserves respect, that deserves recognition. Even though he didn't get top assister, didn't get top scorer, didn't even get golden ball, his numbers at 39 years old shouldn't be overlooked. So that completes my World Cup 2026 team of the tournament. Of course, like I said, there were many different options like Laporte. You could replace him with Upamecano. Cucurella, you could replace him with Jet Spence. And of course, Olise, I think Manzambi has a shout. But overall, I'm happy with this squad. And I think this squad is the squad that is deserving of the team of the tournament. So what do you guys think about this team? Let me know down below the players you think should have been in the team. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.